Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raiders Daily. My name is Jackson. I post daily Raiders content, so be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button if you enjoy it. So we have the NFL draft less than 2 weeks away, and it's getting a little complicated right now for Raiders fans because you'll see one report and it's saying they're only interested in CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, and then you'll see another report saying Anthony Richardson at number 7 to the Raiders could be in play. Will Levis at pick number 7 could be in play. Could the Raiders trade up to pick number 5 and take Anthony Richardson? There's just so much speculation going on right now, but nonetheless, I feel so comfortable. I feel so confident with the overall outlook of the Las Vegas Raiders. I know a lot of people are a little bit hesitant to paying Jimmy Garoppolo a bigger contract. However, if you zoom out of it, you're paying Jimmy $20 million less than Derek Carr. And I love Derek Carr, but if we have to face reality, if we have to face facts, he's never won a playoff game for us. And that's just such a harsh reality because, we get these kind of, relationships. We get this comfortableness with great guys and great players like Derek Carr who are bought into the program. They're bought into Raiders football. But at the end of the day, Jimmy G, he's familiar with McDaniel's scheme, and we're going to evaluate it in today's video, but I just feel really good about it. So before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for more Raiders content. If we get this video to 200 likes, that would mean the world to me. Now, just in general, sometimes when we take a look at sports, even life in general, sometimes you got to take a step back to take 2 steps forward. And I think it's perfectly applicable to this Raiders team. They're coming off, not this past season, but the year before with Derek Carr, where they won 4 straight games and they made the playoffs and they almost advanced past Cincinnati. Things were riding high. Dealt with the Gruden drama. You dealt with bringing in, an interim coach. You sign a guy like Josh McDaniels. The Raiders as a team in the last 12 to 24 months has been a whirlwind of emotions. And so last season, you acquired Davante Adams, you have Max Crosby, you have Derek Carr, you have a great offense, you have hopefully what was going to be a solid defense, and you're thinking, myself included, all right, this is at least a 10-win team, even though it's a loaded AFC West, we'll deal with it when it comes. Yada, yada, yada. Unfortunately, that was not the way the Raiders season went, but I seriously think it's for the better. The Raiders last season, keep in mind, Jimmy G, he's got to stay healthy. That's been the big flaw, the big fatal flaw with Jimmy is he's got to be healthy. The Raiders last season, I remember making videos on this team last offseason being very worried about the offensive line. When it was all said and done, they were a top 16. They were a top half offensive line. In fact, they were ranked top 10 in total sacks allowed. They made some great moves. I really like the Jimmy G bridge starter acquisition. I think Jacoby Myers, he's very versatile. You could throw him on the slot. You could throw him outside. Philip Dorsett, get this team some speed. You traded away Darren Waller. Unfortunately, Denzel Perryman walked, but I think overall, it really is the common theme. You take a step back to take 2 steps forward, and now things are focused on the draft. I get it. A lot of Raiders fans, a lot of fans in general, or just NFL fans, are a little bit skeptical right now of what the GM and head coach are doing right now. They're thinking, what's Ziegler doing? What's McDaniels doing? They're making the Las Vegas Patriots 2.0. What are we doing? But it's giving this team some familiarity. It's giving them a comfortableness where it's all right, we're going to bring in all of these bridge starters, guys, low risk, high reward type of players where we're at least able to compete and contend. And if things go our way, who knows what happens. If things don't go our way, next year's quarterback draft class is absolutely loaded. When I take a look at the Raiders draft right now, and I take a look at pick number 7 in specific, to be honest with you, especially because at the time of this recording, it's Monday, April 17th. Rock Ya-Sin is not on a football team. He's not on a football team. I don't know why the Raiders have not paid Rock Ya-Sin, but it's neither here nor there. I'm looking at cats like Christian Gonzalez, Devon Witherspoon, Tyree Wilson. If the Raiders finish with one of those three players, which if they keep that seventh pick, they 100% will have one of those three players, I'd feel very comfortable. Devon Witherspoon from Illinois, I think he's a shutdown, lockdown cornerback. Christian Gonzalez from Oregon, same thing applies to him. I think when you're thinking, keep in mind with the defense, especially a cornerback, keep in mind you're playing Mahomes, you're playing Herbert, you're playing Russ, you're playing these guys twice a year. I need a lockdown, shutdown CB. And even if Rock Ya-Sin does in fact come back to the Raiders, which once again I'm really hoping for, it doesn't matter. Because I want a shutdown cornerback. I want a guy I can 100% rely on, like think 3 years from now. Christian Watson, Devon Witherspoon, they turn into a star, and you pair them up against any team's opposing wide receiver one. I want to feel comfortable about it. In the Raiders, when we take a look at them last year, I know, heading into the offseason, it was like, all right, what's going on with Derek Carr? Well, they figured that out. They're going with Jimmy G. So pick number 7, I'm not taking AR. I'm not taking Will Levis. Now, I will say, if the Raiders take Anthony Richardson at pick number 7, will I be all that upset? Absolutely not. I think Anthony Richardson and even Will Levis, I have my concerns with Will, but AR, Will Levis, whoever it is, if you take him at pick number 7, I wouldn't be frustrated. I wouldn't be completely upset. I'd be open to see what happens. But once again, I think the Raiders' best interest is next season. And there is a downside to it, and we'll discuss that in just a second. But let's go into next season with Jimmy G. All right, now I miss the days when Hendon Hooker was like a 3rd or even 4th round draft pick, and take a guy like Hendon Hooker in the 3rd or 4th round, low risk, high reward player. But he's climbing up the draft ranks. He's looking like he might be 1st round selected or at least early 2nd. You take a project QB. I don't think Clayton Tune officially declared for the draft, but guy like Clayton Tune, a guy where it's a low risk, high reward guy. And you have Jimmy G for a good reason. He's a winner. He knows how to win. And for some reason, God forbid, if he were to get injured, or if the season just isn't going as planned, and halfway through the season, it's not working with Jimmy, or he got injured. All right, let's go with a backup rookie quarterback. Let's see how that goes. Let's tank the rest of the season, and let's see, is there something there with that backup QB? If not, all right, we'll go into next year's draft class with a top 5 draft pick and take a QB then. So I really think, even though next season are the Raiders going to win the Super Bowl, unfortunately, probably not, but it's okay. You take one step backward to take 2 steps forward. And I know it sounds so cliche, but I really think it's true, especially with this Raiders team. So let me know what you guys are thinking. More importantly, what are you doing at pick number 7? And if it's not a quarterback, what are you going to do about the quarterback? Are you good with running Jimmy G next season, taking a QB in the next upcoming draft? Or are you taking a QB at a later round, taking a QB at 7? Let me know what you guys are doing. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'll see you guys.